we are told that the Dallas football team is expected to offer Dakota Prescott a contract in the neighborhood of $60 million per season. Yeah. That's definitely not Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Now, that would make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL by a wide margin. We are told that should this actually happen, it's being reported it is going to happen, that it's being talked about right now in back channels, that Dak Prescott's deal will be 11% higher than the current record holder, Joe Burrow, of your Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if you were to compare side by side Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott, who would you rather have? I think the answer is kind of obvious. It's a rhetorical question. So let us discuss. Will Jerry Jones really do it? Is he really going to offer Dak Prescott over $60 million per season to play plausibly 17 games in Dallas? So I've got Diagnosed, Rubicon, and Fonzie. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a supersized Maller monologue. So, listen, if you ask me, hey, you're in charge of the Cowboys for a day, do you pay Dak Prescott? No! We'd have to go back to the archives and look back how many Maller monologues I've done over the years. Get rid of Dak. He doesn't have the it factor. He doesn't play well in big games. The guy chokes. And yet, here we are. He's been there seemingly forever as the quarterback of the Cowboys. But that was not the question. The question is, what will Jerry do? And Dak Prescott, for better or worse, has Jerry Jones by the footballs. Okay, by the footballs. Jerry is stuck in this weird dimension where the Cowboys win 10 or more games seemingly every year. They look really, really good against really, really bad teams. And then the first quality opponent they play, they go to hell, right? Go completely sideways. Dak Prescott is a tremendous stat bandito, as has been proven. He gives the illusion that he's a top-notch quarterback. And then when it's nut-cutting time, the Cowboys end up castrated every time. We know how the story ends. But we have pinpointed through the power of the microphones of Fox Sports Radio on the overnight, we have pinpointed the issue here. And Jerry, I diagnosed him with the condition. Jerry has been diagnosed on this show with a severe case of FOMO, the fear of missing out. He's afraid that if he let Dak Prescott go, Dak would go to the Falcons or the Titans or the Commanders or some other generic team, and he would haunt like poltergeist the Dallas Cowboys. So in terms of the $60 million a year, if you thought Dak Prescott was elite, which we don't, you would have no problem. The NFL is a global conglomerate. I've been lucky enough after 20-something years in the business, over 20 years, and never being able to go to a Super Bowl. I've been to the last three, the media part of the Super Bowl, and it is such a massive amount of stuff. The store they have and the NFL experience, whatever they're calling it, it's insane how much money they make. They have a license to print money. So, yeah, if you're the quarterback of the Dallas bleeping Cowboys and you're good, you should get $60 million. That's where the disconnect is. I don't think this guy's good. I don't. And I think it's been proven by his performance in big games. Did you not watch the first 3 quarters of the game against the Green Bay Packers as an example? Now, there is inflation on these contracts, and the gross domestic product of the NFL keeps going up, so it's part of the operational costs of running a football team. Now, turning the page. The Tennessee Titans, at one point, had a pretty good team. They were a contender in the AFC, but they didn't win anything. And Derrick Henry, part of this last era, and he is looking now for gainful employment. And according to the gambling market, which is a really good indicator of how this stuff works, and we are big proponents of following the gambling market, one team has risen head and shoulders above all the other teams as the overwhelming favorite to sign the veteran running back. And who would that team be? You think it's the Cowboys? No, it's not the Cowboys. The friends of Fox Sports Radio, DraftKings, a proud sponsor of this show over the years, DraftKings currently has The Baltimore Ravens, the Poets, at plus 175 as they are way in front of everyone else as the favorite to sign Mr. Henry. So how believable are the Ravens as the favorite in the clubhouse to land Derrick Henry at this point as we do the show in real time? So we wholeheartedly we believe this. It's almost like there's certain things that are universal. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from on the planet. Like, every man, woman, and child enjoys the smell of fresh-cut grass. Something we all like, right? Just cheers you up a little bit. But this is a two-horse race. The Ravens are way out in front right now. And I wouldn't discount the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys are listed second on DraftKings on the odds. But Henry, here's the reason you don't discount the Cowboys. Because at this point in Derrick Henry's career, he's one of these guys that is more of a fantasy football guy than an actual production guy. And he's got every red flag, all the lights flashing on the dashboard, stay away, check engine, all that. He's 30 years old, which is a dinosaur as a running back. He crossed the Rubicon long ago. Running backs tend to fade, the NFL has determined. It's been proven correct. You might remember last year there was a certain running back let go by the Vikings because he had crossed a certain threshold, and he went to the Jets, and that didn't work out so well. Well, Derrick Henry, he's crossed that 1,500 touch mark. The Tractorcito, one of his nicknames, he's got 2,100 touches, and there's a lot of wear and tear. There's some dents there. Henry is coming off his worst season since way back in 2018. So there's a saying on Wall Street, do not try to catch a falling knife. It's not going to go well. All right, last word. I've been peppered. When I say peppered, I got a few emails from people. Get back to the All-Star game. I felt like we covered the All-Star game, the simmering All-Star drama from basketball, which is spilled into the other sports, and the NFL just gave up on the Pro Bowl. They said, can't do it anymore. But the stars in basketball are looking for extra paper. This story, we mentioned it. We didn't make a big deal about it, but the NBA apparently is actually considering, we are told, paying the players a whole lot of money to participate in their annual showcase. Now, keep in mind, the players on the winning All-Star team already got $100,000, but that's chump change when you're making $45 million a year, which many of the top players are. The losers only got $25,000. You can't even go on vacation for a day with $25,000. You know how much a private jet costs? Come on. All right, so why have things gotten to this point with the All-Star games across the board? They all blow. That's one of the things that's changed in my lifetime. So I know the snapping point. And it happened while I was behind these microphones at Fox Sports Radio. In fact, I can pinpoint the exact day. It was 7,897 days ago. Almost 22 years ago, July of 2002. The MLB All-Star Game was played in Milwaukee. And that is when professional sports, the industry, gave up on All-Star games. That was the jump the shark moment, if you will. That was when Fonzie jumped over a shark on water skis, and it was baseball's version of that classic television moment from the old show Happy Days. But for sports, it was when the commissioner, the car salesman Bud Selig, threw his arms up in the air and shrugged and said, I don't know what to do, while talking to the umpires in the 11th inning of a tie game because all the players had vacated the stadium to get the hell out of Wisconsin and go on their vacation over the All-Star break. That was the Waterloo moment. And it's the last generation. Every single All-Star event across the board has been sullied. All of them. And maybe you don't care about that. It's an exhibition game, and the sports are bigger than exhibition games. And the reason All-Star games exist was to grow the sport. Apparently the sports are big enough. They don't need to grow any new fans. But the players over the last generation have been just ruined. They've ruined. I'm trying to think of the right word. They've destroyed the All-Star game because they're neurotic, paranoid about injury, and just generally greedy. And it's just kind of the way it is. And I don't see that going away at any point. You do things because you improve your stay in as a business. And I love flashing back. There was a guy named Tommy Hawkins who played for the Lakers. And Tommy passed away a number of years ago, but I wasn't I wouldn't say friends, but I was acquaintances with Tommy Hawkins. He was an executive with the Dodgers. And I remember talking to Tommy about the days early on when the Lakers arrived in L.A., and he would talk about how the players would go out on flatbed trucks around the neighborhood. Like, we're talking about all the star players, every player on the Lakers would go on the back of a flatbed truck around the neighborhoods in L.A., saying, hey, if you got nothing going on tonight, come down to the sports arena to watch the Lakers and the Celtics or whoever. Because they were trying to grow a fan base. And could you imagine if that kind of thing was required today? Like, hey, LeBron, can you get out on a flatbed truck and go through Cerritos and see if people can come out to the game tonight? Yeah. But times change, right? Now these guys are doing well, so they don't need to do that kind of crap.